Of all his achievements, however, there was one which Cooper regarded with particular satisfaction, an operation so fraught that he described it unhesitatingly as the most difficult he ever performed. It was reported in an 1858 edition of the Medical and Surgical Reporter under a headline which was, if anything, an understatement.
Extraordinary Surgical Operation. At the request of a committee of the San Francisco County Medico-Surgical Association, Dr. E.S. Cooper of that city has furnished them with a detailed account of an operation performed by him for the removal of a foreign body from beneath the heart.
In 1857, the idea of operating inside the chest was so terrifying as to be almost unthinkable. It was occasionally necessary when projectiles such as musket balls had penetrated the lungs, but only as a measure of last resort. It was inherently risky, since opening the chest would let air into the thoracic cavity, causing the lungs to collapse. This could quickly bring about respiratory failure, killing the patient by suffocation. And the location of this foreign object, underneath the heart, added another layer of difficulty to the operation. Many surgeons believed that even touching the heart could cause it to stop beating. The first procedure to treat a cardiac wound did not take place until 1896, partly because so many experts thought that manipulating the organ was virtually impossible.
Dr. Cooper does not tell us what length of time was consumed in performing his extraordinary operation, though he mentions that at least 3/4 of an hour were consumed in an exploration of the thoracic cavity by means of a sound probe for the purpose of discovering the location of the foreign body. This may give the reader some idea of the entire length of time occupied in the operation.
At a conservative estimate, it must have taken more than 2 hours. This is not exceptional by modern standards, but you haven't heard the half of it yet.
Mr. B.T. Beale, aged 25, of Springfield, Tuolumne County, California, with some other young men, in a frolicsome mood, resolved to burst an old gun, and accordingly loaded it with about 18 inches of powder, to which they connected a slow match, and then endeavored to seek security by flight.
Guys, I'm in a frolicsome mood. Shall we blow up an old cannon?
Unfortunately, a brisk wind blew up the powder with great rapidity, and the gun exploded before they had retreated far. A slug of iron had been driven into the gun as a temporary breech pin, which, bursting out in the explosion, struck Mr. Beale in the left side below the armpit, fracturing the 6th rib, entering the chest, and lodging, as was afterwards found, beneath the heart upon the vertebral column, just to the right of the descending aorta, where it had evidently remained from the period of the injury, January 25th, 1857, until it was removed April 9th, 74 days after.
This is a pretty extraordinary set of circumstances. The fact that the slug of iron had entered the man's chest without killing him outright is surprising. It might easily have destroyed any number of important structures, including major blood vessels or the heart itself. And goodness only knows how he managed to survive for 2 months afterwards.
In a state of extreme prostration, he was brought to the city, having had frequent discharges of several ounces of purulent matter at a time from the chest through the original wound. The left lung had lost its function, probably less on account of the violence done the lung at the time than from the subsequent accumulation of pus in the chest, though he had bloody expectoration for a few days. He came to my infirmary on Mission Street, 8th of April, and during the night following had alarming symptoms of suffocation, so much so that I entertained most serious apprehensions that he would not live till morning.
The surgeon would have preferred to let his patient obtain rest from the fatigues of his journey, as he put it, but became so alarmed by his condition that he decided to operate first thing the following day. Dr. Cooper was not a superstitious man, but as he prepared for surgery, he had a strange experience that he would later liken to a premonition. While selecting and laying out his instruments, he found himself drawn to an awkward and ungainly pair of forceps.